12, 1 and 2?
Yes.
Wonderful, Ellie, thank you.
And the Word of God says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." May God bless the reading of His Word.
Amen. Thank you, Ellie. Wonderful. It's a great scripture. And I tell you, it inspires me, especially in this day and age we live in, where you hear so many things. In this world, the world can be a place that we know we shouldn't conform to. There can be such ugly things in this world, such angry things, and such an angry culture can be out there. And they want us to conform to it. I saw a great example of that in the last couple of weeks. I'm not into politics, but I heard this one story that caught my attention. I thought this was just fascinating. It was actually about the guy who was going to become the director of national intelligence. So he's in charge of the CIA, the FBI, just 9 different organizations, very important position. And this is such an important position, he had to be confirmed by the Senate Intelligence Committee, which he happened to have been on. So he was in front of his friends, guys he knew from both sides of the aisle, and so it was a very easy confirmation. This guy's name is Dan Coates, and he went to the confirmation. All these guys knew him, they worked with him, and apparently they respected him too, because it was a pretty easy confirmation. But and it was a fascinating story for that reason. I mean, he was talking to people that knew him well and kind of knew what he knew. So they didn't have to ask him as many questions as they might ask another person. But there was one criticism that came about him from both sides of the aisle. The Republicans were critical of this, and the Democrats were critical of this. Did anybody hear this story? Remember what they didn't like about him? The one thing they thought disqualified him from this job of being director of intelligence. You know what it was? Kind of. He had a conscience, and he said he was too nice. He was too nice. He said, one of the senators said to him, Mr. Coates, Senator Coates, you are one of the nicest, most honorable, most affable people I know. And I don't want that kind of person in this job, ideally. I want somebody who is mean, somebody who is, as the senator said, I want somebody who is crusty and mean and tough. All right, that caught my attention. A lot of these stories that just fly by, that caught my attention. Here's a senator of the United States saying that he wants somebody who is mean, not somebody who's nice, but somebody who is mean and crusty and tough. And I'll tell you, that bothered me as a nice person. Now, that's one thing I do consider myself. I got a lot of limitations in my life, but one thing I think I generally am is a nice person. And to say that being nice disqualifies you from any job, that kind of bothered me. That there's something, niceness that keeps toughness from coming into the picture. That you can't be nice and tough. That to be tough, you've got to be crusty, you've got to be mean, you've got to be angry, have that sort of sense of anger all the time. Maybe even like kind of bordering on a little hatred. Yeah, maybe not go over it, kind of step right up to it, and that's the implication there as well. And that bothered me. It bothered me because not only because I'm a nice guy, I just don't think it's true. Because I'll tell you, one thing I have learned from being in the church for as many years as I've been, is that some of the nicest people are also some of the toughest people. Some of the people most capable of getting difficult jobs done. The kind of people who are willing to open their eyes and see issues as they really are and not cover them up and see them as we hope they will be. The kind of people who are willing to make the tough call. The kind of people who are willing to do one of the toughest jobs in the church or really among Christian folks, and that's hold others accountable. That's a hard job. We want to just be nice all the time. We want to be friendly. We don't want to hold people accountable. But here we think that, and here, there's so many examples, and I've seen so often, the people that are willing to do that are the nice people. Yeah, they're nice all the time, but they're also tough in this way. And in fact, it's been true throughout my life. I've seen many people who are very, very kind, and yet can be absolutely tough when the time calls for it. I think, let me say this first. There is absolutely, I think, this feeling that to be mean is to be tough. But actually, you know what I found? Is the mean people, the people that have this attitude, this negative attitude toward life, toward the world, the reason they have it is because they're scared. See, that's what's, the meanness is there, but the reason the meanness is there is because they're afraid. They're afraid of revealing themselves or getting close to others. They're afraid of the change that's going on, and so they react with meanness. I just don't think meanness and toughness equate. I think meanness and anger and crustiness, as the senator said, that's what reminds me of fear more. And the toughness I really think about when I think about nice people. In fact, I just heard the other day that an old acquaintance of mine passed away. His name was Freddie Jones, and he gave me my first job out of college. He was the vice president of human resources at All Saints Hospital in Fort Worth, Texas. And I'll tell you, he was, and you meet him and you know, he was a very outgoing person, the kind of person you kind of wanted to be with, but he was also very, very kind. Extremely nice guy. One of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's also one of the most successful business people I've ever met, and one of the toughest. This guy could be extremely tough, even though he was a nice guy. So I want to get away from this idea that niceness and toughness are separate. If Freddie Jones, well, I'll tell you one time I was at the hospital and I worked for Freddie, and there was another vice president. Somehow I made this vice president mad, and she was yelling at me, and Freddie came into the room, and let me tell you, he was tough with his colleague for yelling at me, who I worked for him. That guy could be absolutely a tough guy. One day he was packing up his car and it went out of gear and his leg was crushed against the trailer and he lost his leg. But man, he was tough about it. He could take it. And as nice as he was, he didn't let that color his life either in a negative way. Man, he kept that niceness and that toughness. And if those examples, and I hope you're thinking of some people right now, nice and tough, if those examples aren't good enough, well, just think of Jesus Christ. I mean, Jesus was nice, obviously, of course. Was Jesus nice? Yes, Jesus was nice. Was Jesus not tough? No, Jesus was tough. He could get tough. He could do those things, make the tough calls, make the tough decisions, hold people accountable, do all of these things. And so, gosh, that's something we need to be able to recognize and see in this world, is that, we can be both. We can be nice, but there's a reason behind this. Why the senators think this, why many people have this idea that in this world you need to be mean, you need to be crusty. Because this world can be a mean place. Isn't that so? This world can be a mean and angry place. And I'll tell you what happens. When the world becomes something, then it wants us all to conform to it. So the world's becoming an angrier place. That means that we're all going to be pushed to conform to the world, to become angry ourselves. And how do we avoid that? Because that's a problem for us Christians. We're not supposed to conform to that. If the world's mean, we're not supposed to be mean too. And yet the world is trying to put us into this mold. And there is that pressure. And there are people in the world who, if we aren't mean enough, if we aren't angry enough, if we don't respond to anger with anger, if we respond with love instead, we're held with suspicion. You're too nice for that job. Here's another thing I've heard. I don't trust that guy. He's too nice. You ever heard anything like that? That is the craziest thing. I don't trust this guy. He's too nice. It's ridiculous. But that's the world. That's the world trying to make us to conform. It's angry, it's mean out there, and it's trying to make us conform to that. I'll tell you, one person who understands that was the Apostle Paul. He wrote there to the Romans, do not conform to this world. Use your mind. Use your mind to conform to the will of God. That's what we need to do. We need to be able to conform to God's will and not conform to this world, the negative things that this world has to bring to us. Let me stop here a moment and just say, there is some conformity that's good. There's some conformity that draws us together. We are here as a group right now. We are gathered here in worship because we conform in our beliefs in some way, in some fashion. That's what brings us together. I remember I sang in the seminary choir. When I went to seminary, 3 years in seminary, and every semester I would sing in the seminary choir because it would give you half a credit. I got half a credit for every semester, so by the end of 3 years, I had a full class. I didn't have to take because I'd been in the seminary choir. I thought it was the best deal around, but apparently people didn't agree because we were the motliest crew. We had like 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6 people in the choir. We were all not good. I mean, talk about a lack of conformity. That's where you want conformity, right? When you're singing together, when you're playing instruments together. When we were singing, and we couldn't even do that right. We remember once we sang an anthem about the 23rd Psalm. And I remember the sopranos were way up in the valley of the shadow of death, while we tenors were still way back in the green pastures. We couldn't even conform in that way. And that's what you want. There is conformity that's good. For instance, there are things in this in our society that we all agree on. We all agree or value, or I certainly hope we do, or I can't say all, but 99%. Think about our society. We have all these different political opinions going on, but one thing I hope we agree on, one thing I certainly feel passionate about, is something that I practice all the time. I'm practicing it right now, and that is freedom of speech. I would hope that anybody who wants to come and live in our society would agree with that principle, because that's something we agree on. We want to have freedom of speech. And so, gosh, if that's something that you're not into, maybe you should rethink coming here, because that is a part of what brings us together. That right, and other core beliefs that we have. So yes, some conformity is good, but then where do we draw the line? And that's the issue for Christians. As we're conforming, and as the world's calling us to conform, where do we stop and say, no, I can go this far, but I can't go any further than that? You know, I ask myself this question all the time about entertainment. Because I love good entertainment, television, movies, social media, and the internet, and all these different forms of entertainment today. I really enjoy them, but I think there is a line there. There's some kinds of entertainment that maybe a Christian person, or at least this Christian person, shouldn't be watching, shouldn't be participating in. I know that there are shows, and I watch them and I see them because I enjoy some of them. There are shows where people are intentionally encouraged to lie to one another, to be mean to one another, to betray one another. Now, is that the kind of thing this Christian person should be watching? That's a question I'm always asking myself. I love watching crime dramas, and there's these crime shows that not only are they showing the crime, but they seem to be reveling in all the gory details. All the sad little details of what happened to the victim. I wonder, is that a line there? Is this something that I shouldn't, as a Christian, be watching? Of course, there's social media too, and all the blessings of it, and then this little bit of it that can be so destructive and so hurtful and so ugly. And is that something I should be participating in? There is some line there, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'll tell you, as an example, I went and saw the movie Logan, and I loved it. I thought it was just fantastic. Best superhero movie I have ever seen. I thought it was great. I thought there was a nice little message there. But it was also a movie where a guy with big adamantium claws was stabbing people, through their heads too, and killing, I don't know, probably 50, 60 people were killed. Now, was that a good thing because it had a good message, an uplifting message for me? Or was it a bad thing because of the violence? There is some line there. The world calling us to conform, and we can go so far, but where is that line? And how do each of us decide? Maybe it is we do. I think there are a lot of shows that we can watch, and we leave them either feeling uplifted or dragged down. We feel worse because we watch them. Maybe that's the line. The ones that make us feel uplifted, we should keep on watching. But it's a question for us how do we keep, as Christians, from being conformed to a world that does seem so crusty, so angry, so mean? Well, there's two ways I think we can go about it. These are two old traditional ways that Christians can deal with a world whose values don't agree with Christian values. They agree with our values. And one, and it's actually kind of like a sculpture. There's two ways to do a sculpture. You can get a big block of stone and you can cut away everything that's not the sculpture. Or you can start with nothing and build it up, out of clay, out of metal, whatever, and build up the sculpture. So those are the two options we have. We can start cutting things out, and there's lots to cut. Well, we'll cut out any movie that's made recently. We can just cut that out, because, we're not sure about that. That may drag us down. That may not conform to what we believe. So we're going to cut out the movies, and we'll cut out the entertainment and the TV shows, definitely, or at least anything made in the last 20 years, let's say. We still watch the Beverly Hillbillies and Gunsmoke. And what else? Oh, well, we cut out all the social media, because there is that little bit that's negative. And suddenly we have now created this life where we think we protected ourselves by cutting things out, cutting things away. And of course we know that no matter how hard we work at this, no matter how much we do it, it will fail. That's the problem with it. And also the problem with it is we're also cutting ourselves. When we're cutting things out, we end up cutting out things that actually would have lifted us up and would have been a help to us. So we're cutting things out, but the bad stuff finds its way into our lives anyway. It's like the story about the woman who called the animal control people. And she said, I've got a skunk in my basement. I don't know how it got there, but there's a skunk down there. And they said, oh, well, okay, before we send somebody out, try this. Open up the doors to the basement, open up the doors to your garden, make a trail of food from your garden to the basement, and then wait an hour, and you'll get rid of the skunk. See if the skunk goes. And so she did it, and of course what happens? She ends up with 2 skunks. See, you can find, our best strategies for excluding evil can find their way in. Find their way in anyway. So there's this other, then we can go, okay, let's go this other direction. If cutting things out has its problems, has its difficulties, maybe it's going to keep us from being in this world the way we want to be in it, the way we want to be encountering people, then let's try this building up thing. And actually what we do there is we don't focus on what we're going to cut out. We don't focus on what we don't like. We focus what we are about. What are we here for? What are we into? What is the thing that God is calling us to do? What is the life that Jesus Christ is showing us and showed us through his ministry, continues to inspire us to? What it really comes down to is the willingness to lift Christ up in our lives. To put Christ in our hearts, to let our hearts be so full of Christ's love and Christ's Spirit that all that negative stuff just can't get in. In fact, not only is our heart so full of it, full of Christ's love, it's overflowing. And not only can that bad stuff get in, now we're having a positive effect on this world. We're bringing Christ's peace to this world. We're bringing Christ's love to this world, Christ's kindness to this world. See, it's this whole different way of looking at it. Instead of focusing on the negative and thinking about all the ways, we're discouraged by the world, and instead of focusing on that, we're going to focus on what we do believe in. We're so blessed because we do have this wonderful, in the Bible, description of Christ's life and Christ's teachings to go by. It's easy for us then to know how to lift Christ up in our lives. Jesus said that, I will be lifted up and I will draw all men to me. I'll be lifted up and all those around are going to come in. And that's what we do. We lift Christ up in our hearts, and it's going to draw in the good all around us. It's going to draw in those who can be positively affected. Well, I like the little story I read. I'm not sure who the author is, but it was about a guy who went to a little regional airport, and it was a tiny little airport, but still planes would come in bringing passengers. And he noticed that when it was nighttime and it was time to take off, for one of the flights to take off, somebody would go over and there was a switch there, and they'd flip the switch, and the lights on the runway would come on. They didn't keep them on all the time, they'd be away, so they'd flip them on, and he noticed how meager the lights were. It was like just a couple of lights pointed down the runway, kind of a little ribbon of light out there. Nothing else around was lit up, the edges weren't lit up, just a little path right in the middle, and the planes would go, and they would go down that runway, and they would follow that path right down the middle until they got up to speed, and they took off, and then somebody would go over and shut that switch off, and the lights would go out. You see, this is one thing that Christ offers us. It has through his life and through what we know of him, of his teachings and his ministry. That is a beginning for us. That gets us started along the way. To know those teachings, to know how Christ would have us live, that gets us started on this road until we can take off. And I'll tell you then, what do we do in this world? How do we keep from conforming to the worship of this world?